And thank you so much for popping in to give us your credit crunch beating ideas for weddings. What's your first one?
Well, my first one is to get married off-peak. Most people get married in this country between May and October, so obviously if you can get married during those autumn or winter months, you'll be able to save money and negotiate straight away. And also I think it's great to have a wedding in autumn or winter. You know, why not have a fantastic autumn wedding full of orange and red colours, or a winter wedding with a winter wonderland theme? That's
lovely, but have you brolly at the ready?
Yes, definitely. My second tip would be to use friends and relatives. I mean, everyone's got hidden talents and everybody's happy to help when you're planning a wedding as well. So you might have an auntie that's got a fantastic skill for cake making, or a friend who's a florist. You know, get them involved, get them to help you out, and you'll save cash that way. And other things as well, little things like get the girls round, get them to help you make your stationery, have a good girly evening and make your faves at the same time.
Lovely, that sounds perfect. Any more?
Yeah, my third tip would be to know your dress designers. You know, we all see these celebrities wearing these gorgeous, amazing couture gowns that cost thousands of pounds, and most of us can't afford that, so do your research. And there's some great designers out there doing dresses for under £1,000, even around the £600 mark, which, you know, are inspired by those catwalk gowns and can look every bit as beautiful.
Lovely.
Okay, my fourth tip would be to save money on your flowers. Do a little bit of research here as well. And probably the key thing you can do with flowers is to buy flowers that are in season, because if you're buying flowers that aren't really available, they're being, you know, flown half around the world, they can be much more expensive. So have a chat with your florist about what's available at the sort of time of year you're getting married.
Fantastic. What's tip number 5?
Well, my fifth tip for brides-to-be would be to get that glow for less. I mean, every bride-to-be wants to look fantastic on her day from top to toe, but you know, it doesn't have to cost the earth. So why don't you find out about local beauty colleges, whether they can do, you know, manicure, pedicure, waxing, fake tan for a bit less, and get all that done, you know, slightly cheaper. And then on the day itself, I'd say if you can find a local hairdresser who's trying to increase their bridal hair portfolio, they might be willing to do your hair for a bit less. And also with your makeup, if you're happy to do your makeup yourself on the big day, then why not go and find a makeup counter in, you know, one of the big department stores, get some free advice, get some free tips, you know, find out how to get your lip gloss that lasts all day and mascara doesn't run, all that kind of thing.
Yeah, have a play around, and also every single day you can use those tips as well, so it's fantastic.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, what's tip number 6?
Prioritise, and this is something that's key for couples at every stage of their wedding planning. I think the first thing you have to do is sit down with your fiancé and put together a budget, because, you know, otherwise things can spiral out of control. And I'd say keep an eye on it throughout, so think about what's really important to you as a couple. So if it's the music, then maybe have a buffet meal, save a bit of money there, but then, you know, spend a bit more on a DJ or an amazing band. If it's the food that's important, then spend more on the food, and then maybe put together a playlist for your evening do. So try and think about where you're spending the money.
Lovely. Keep them coming. Tip number 7.
Well, tip number 7 would be to save on the food, because obviously your price per head for food can be one of the big costs of your wedding. So I would think a little bit about what you want from the day, and also whether you can do something a little bit cheaper. So think about sourcing locally, and the same as your flowers. Local food might be a bit cheaper, and also food that's in season, because nobody wants to be eating a salad in the middle of winter, and likewise no one wants roast in the middle of July. So just think about making it kind of apt for the reception that you're having. And also a buffet can be much cheaper, so think about that. And don't be afraid to be unique either. I mean, everyone knows that Kate Winslet had bangers and mash, and I don't think anyone probably complained about that.
Yeah, fish and chips.
Yes.
I'd love to go to a wedding where they serve fish and chips. And what's tip number 8?
Well, visit a wedding show. There are some fantastic wedding shows up and down the country, and whether you go to one of the big ones in London, like the National Wedding Show, the Designer Wedding Show, or one of the smaller ones in your local county, it's a great way to find tips and advice, and to get it for free, most importantly. So go along and maybe have a chat with local suppliers, see what they're able to offer. And also don't be afraid to negotiate. You know, they're there because they want your business, so why don't you go and ask what they can do for special deals, and also find out what discounts they've got available.
I'm sure those brides-to-be can feel their purses getting heavier by the minute. Moving on, tip number 9.
Well, I would say that tip number 9 would be creative. If you haven't got a huge budget, then think about different ways you can make your day special. So, for example, think about yours and your fiancé's interests and hobbies, and try and incorporate those a little bit more into the day. So maybe your invitations you make yourself, but include a great photo of yourselves on an amazing skiing holiday you had, or something that's really personal to you.
Final tip from you, Helen.
Well, my final tip, and I think this is one that most people forget towards the end of planning a big wedding, remember that it's your day. And the most important thing for your wedding is that you and your fiancé, who love each other very much, are getting married and having that special day. And I think as long as you keep that at the top of your mind, you can't go far wrong, especially when, you know, relatives putting the pressure on to invite the great aunt you haven't seen for 10 years and all that kind of thing. It's just important to remember what's, you know, really crucial about getting married.
Oh, they're brilliant tips, fantastic. I think everyone out there will appreciate those. Thank you so much for popping in.
Thank you.
It's lovely to see you, Helen.